Oh, hi. Hi,
Yes.
handsome. Hi, how are you?
Good morning from the New York Bureau, children. And yes, the only way you can be a follower of both Jesus and Trump is if you've never read either of their books.
Yeah,
Hello.
I see what you did there.
Uh-huh.
John, yeah, we were saying that this is the challenge of doing comedy is with the we can't keep up with. You're like, hey, how come you didn't do the thing? I'm like, we did the thing from 4 minutes ago. And then Rudy Giuliani has shoe polish running down his face. I don't. How do you even parody that? What
I mean,
whatever
you
that
can't
was.
you can't parody it. Like you can't. I mean, let's be honest. Those who've lived in New York have always known what Rudy really is. And the 9/11 bounce was merely forestalling the inevitable. And the inevitable was yesterday when we can see a once proud New York prosecutor looking like a goth rabbi. There's no other way to put it. If you can't laugh at that kind of horror, um, it was just it was just incredible, and it's just incredible that there's this many people who can't see that this movie doesn't end well.
I mean, John, that really did sum up everything about how hilarious and pathetic it is.
Oh yeah.
And yet at the same time, how terrifying. I mean, Lincoln Project tweeted the damage the GOP is allowing this flailing loser to inflict on our democracy is absolutely despicable. So we have to
Well, and that
call. I
Lincoln
mean,
Project are the ones who berated us for opposing the Iraq War. So yeah, coming from them, it means something.
right,
I mean,
right. But I mean,
you know,
one more tweet. One of the last dying grasps of the Trump presidency is a sweaty septuagenarian lawyer spouting baseless conspiracy while hair dye runs down the sides of his face. I mean, it's
Yeah.
his presidency is melting. It's melting.
Yes.
What a
Yeah,
cruel,
yeah,
cruel
yeah.
world. What a cruel world.
What a world.
What a
It
world.
really is. I'm not as impressed.
Oh, see, now I should have done that bit. See, now I didn't do the door. Okay.
Way to go.
Yeah, I'm not as impressed at Borat 2 anymore. At first I thought, wow, look what they did with Giuliani. How did they get that to happen with Giuliani? Now it's kind of like, oh, Borat 2 was really the moral high point of Giuliani's year.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
what's going to happen? I mean, what's going to happen with the district he once represented? It's just, I remember I met Giuliani when I was a young intern at WNYC Radio,
Yeah.
and he was so kind to me in ways that Democratic politicians hadn't. He asked me questions about my life. He was courteous and solicitous, and I could tell then that he was completely insane by the comb over. By the fact that he went out there in public with that kind of comb over, you knew that there was a tenacious grip on reality at best. And we're really seeing the promise of that finally come home with this spectacle of, black goo rivulets running down Giuliani's face while he quotes My Cousin Vinny after telling a judge there's no evidence of fraud, and here's why there's fraud. That's really where we're
I
at.
mean, like the worst comedian at open mic night ever. You're like, oh no, don't do the impression of Joe Pesci. Oh no, it's too late.
It's just
Wait, oh, do we have that?
they-
Which one is it? Yeah, let's have a real professional comedian judge this.
We
Please.
could do like a. Did you all watch My Cousin Vinny? Did you know the movie? It's one of my favorite.
Might go something
war
like
movies,
this.
because he comes from Brooklyn, and when the nice lady who said she saw, and then he says to her, "How many fingers do I? How many fingers do I got up?" And she says, 3. Well, she was too far away to see it was only 2. These people were further away than my cousin Vinny was from the witness. They could.
Wow. Like, how do you say to a pharmacist, I'll have what he's having?
Yeah.
So here's what happens. See, there's this kid, and he has a sled, and somehow he gets separated from the sled, and 50 years go by, and the kid becomes more powerful, and he keeps saying the sled's name. I forget what the sled's name was, but it's an important part of the story I'm telling.
Okay. Yes,
It's
you
just-
you tweeted. He's posted over 300 tweets attacking America's election process in the last 2 weeks that Twitter has marked as disputed. At this point, his tweets are going to need a childproof cap. We have to childproof the presidency after this. This is just, I mean, John, I was saying, if you watched last night from show to show, you would hear people would say, I wish I could tell you this is impossible, this will happen. Right. And then, but I can't tell you. So, I mean, then your stomach is doing backflips, Then you end with Neil Katyal saying this is not going to happen. It's too many states
Right.
and too many votes. But the fact that they're trying it is something we absolutely should be calling out repeatedly. I mean, this is, Because
yeah, I've already moved ahead. I'm already terrified about the competent, intelligent, non-financially compromised fascist who tries to
yes.
gaslight 70 million Americans. Like, there's going to be someone who's not a moron who does exactly what Trump did,
Yeah.
and it's going to be much more effective. But for now, yeah, I mean, let's just be proud that we can defeat fascism just by accepting reality at this point.
And
we don't have to go fight at Iwo Jima. We can just accept science and that the sky is blue, and that's enough to defeat fascists in 2020.
Yeah. I think there's still time to impeach the MFer for treason, just because
Yeah.
which he's going
Again,
right now, subverting
Democrats
democracy.
They should have impeached Bill Barr over the summer to give us a miniseries. But yeah, just impeach this guy.
Well,
I mean, impeach him.
This is what Adam tweeted. Sometimes I worry we're going to take the high road right into a dictatorship. I mean, we've been doing this for how long? Like, he can't do that, and he won't get away with that, and that won't happen. People have been wrong over and over. And the fact that they don't play by any laws or rules, it is just raw power, and Republicans are willing to help him do it, right? I mean, that's what he's thinking, is they'll just scream fraud enough that they'll and draw it out long enough that they'll get enough states to go, okay, we're going to throw our electors to Trump. I mean, it's I don't know who it was. There was two different experts that said, it could happen, or at least we need to take it seriously enough, that it's not
stupid
just
white guys will get us all killed. Yeah, stupid white guys will get us all killed, and it's so preventable.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking now as President-elect Biden begins to appoint his cabinet and his, naming his staff. And it's like, that's the thing about the Democrats. God bless them, but we can always count on Democrats to bring the right idea, the most moral idea, the idea that helps the most people, the idea that we know works and that has worked in the past, that they'll bring that idea to a knife fight.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now.
Chris said Dianne Feinstein brought a hug to a knife fight.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you're worried about the same thing I am, John. You tweeted, if only someone made a deal with Iran to stop developing nuclear weapons, and our military repeatedly confirmed for years that Iran was complying with the deal. Well, I mean, who did we have on? Malcolm said, no, I wouldn't put it past him to bomb Iran the day before
he's already tried.
Biden takes over.
Yeah, but that won't happen because Putin doesn't want that. So pulling all of our troops out of Afghanistan, it's very awkward as someone who's wanted to see that happen for a long time to be terrified at the reasons why it's happening. I mean, do keep in mind the one consistent foreign policy element of this guy is that he doesn't do anything that would displease Vladimir Putin. And
this is why the pulling everything out of Afghanistan immediately, which we're liberals, we're not for war, but the fact that immediate withdrawal is endorsed by Al Qaeda, the Taliban, and Russia makes me go, that seems like that's not good for America to do it that particular way at this particular time, right?
The Afghan war is like this really old, long-running reality show that costs way too much. Nobody likes it. It gets terrible reviews, and we keep renewing it every year, even though we can't afford it. But I'm kind of like, well, I don't want that studio head to cancel it.
Yeah. But Malcolm Nance said, John, that it's like Syria because Putin told him to. He left all our equipment there. I mean, how much like help do most Americans need? It's millions and millions. I don't even know, billions of dollars. We just left our equipment and our bases. Like, that's what he's talking about doing in Afghanistan.
Abandoning our allies who are dumb enough to trust us, abandoning the troops who've actually fought alongside these men, abandoning the intentions and the plans of the generals. And Donald Trump is not a pacifist, and he never has been, no matter how much he lies about how he once opposed the Iraq war, but there doesn't seem to be any evidence of it anywhere. Yeah. Like, this is all about the fact that Putin owns his debt.
Yeah.
Get him out. And by the way, if you haven't heard Robert Cray's This Man, Stephanie, it's the song we've been starting my show with for 3 months. It's the first great song of the Trump era, and it's a blues song. But Robert Cray, This Man, trust me, it's unstoppable. The sooner he gets out, the sooner the indictments can start coming through. Yeah. And right now, what he's trying to do is play a game where he can get a settlement and walk away.
Yes.
He's trying right now to threaten all this chaos. So somehow he's given a blanket pardon, including for state offenses.
So we'll do anything. This is just over. That we could just.
And he's not going to get away with it. He has to leave the White House sometime. The guy's got to play golf. He will leave the White House. All it takes is 3 strippers and a guy with a net. He's going to leave. Don't cut any deals with him. Just get him out.
Yeah.
Get him out. Get him out.
The cogent point on Twitter, you said, ever notice how the guys who keep telling you to be proud of the white race are the ones that make you most embarrassed of it? Yes. There's that, right? Texas Trump supporters say they're ready to take up arms the minute the president gives the order. That's
Great.
what the standby meant. And it's, that's it just is so, there's a number of things that make this so terrifying. Not the least of which is the hypocrisy of the Republican Party, which, as usual with your brilliance, you call out. You said, if you're a conservative who hates free abortions, gay rights, gun control, women in the military, and single-payer health care, you probably should stop supporting Israel already. Their hypocrisy is just endless, right?
Endless hypocrisy. And again, he has no other options right now. This is the end game. And the longer this goes on, like, people need to realize this is an ugly spectacle, but ultimately it's really good. America needs Donald Trump to make this as ugly as possible, because every day this goes on, there's people who voted for him that know he lost, right?
Yeah.
What matters is January 5th. What matters is super high turnout for Democrats. So the best case scenario is 50-50, and Kamala Harris is the most busy, tie-breaking vice president in history. And that only happens if Joe Manchin gets hit on the head and wakes up and becomes a Democrat. But he's going to leave. And every day he stays there and pulls this nonsense that he's just not even good at fraud.
Yeah.
It's helping Reverend Warnock. It's helping John Ossoff. The tantrum is ruining his legacy. It's going to make it easier for the GOP to forget this guy like they forgot George W. Bush. Like, he's making our jobs much easier. Please let him self-destruct, folks. He's got 61 days left.
Then Chris
to
and
make people more embarrassed for voting for him.
Chris and I have a sub-dream that then Kamala Harris comes in with a headdress on roller skates like in Xanadu to break the tie. I mean, I'll settle for anything Beyonce formation, maybe even, and she's got dancers, and it's a thing.
Yeah, or like Beyonce's Coachella performance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, there's stuff. There's not just there's
choreography.
Yeah, there's choreography. There's a fan. Okay. Speaking of shows, John, you've tweeted Saturday night the big post-election Thanksgiving political comedy spectacular. Of what could you be speaking, John Fugelsang?
Oh my goodness, the one that's tried to kill me more than any one of these shows has tried to kill me.
Me too. Buy a ticket to this show because this is killing John Fugelsang and I.
I'm doing one sketch that's it takes place a year from now, 1 year after Donald Trump leaves office, when he does his first pay-per-view special to reveal state secrets to his own fan base. And I play Charlie Kirk, and I play
oh dear,
I play Charlie Kirk, I play Jared Kushner. My wife's plant plays Eric Trump. There's a lot to be seen, and then I'm doing I oh my God, I'm just in so much trouble.
Falwell, listen. I play. I don't remember. I play Paula White. I play Michelle Bachmann. I play Laura Ingraham. I play the final chapter of Judge Janine. It's a
you
lot.
get to see my Jared Kushner on this one. Jared lives in Saudi Arabia now. And my Rudy Giuliani, it's really fun. Look, here's the deal: when this guy is gone, and he will be, we're all going to unclench a little bit. But douchebaggery is not going away.
Yeah.
It's like when Obama became president, people thought, is comedy dead? And I'm like, you think evil's taking a holiday?
Right.
Believe me, the forces who have defended this little fascist are going to still be in power.
Yeah.
They're going to still need ridicule. When we're old, we're going to be in the same fight we're in now.
Yeah.
We're still going to be fighting for marginalized people and women's rights and immigrant rights and children. We're going to be fighting for LGBT people. It's like, so the problems are never going away.
Right.
And the bad guys are never going away.
Right.
And what matters now is two things: the 5th of January, and that liberals, for the first time in my life, don't check out for a midterm election in 2022.
And the first thing that matters is tomorrow night, sexyliberal.com.
Tomorrow night,
the tour section, Sexy Liberal, virtual, the Thanksgiving celebrate, the post-election celebration.